Hi guys, it's Tuesday, October the 18th. Today we're going to start out with filling in this graph. This graph represents moon cycles. The dots on the graph actually represent each moon phase. So we're going to kind of fill it in together through the video, and then you guys can glue it into your notebook. When we're looking at our graph, the first thing we need to do is kind of make sure we understand what we're looking at. So if you look at the independent variable line, this one right here, it's hours. So this represents the number of hours that we have in 1 month. Okay, so this is kind of the time frame that we're looking at with this graph. And then if we look over here on this side, it says percent of illumination. So this is telling us how much of the moon we see throughout a month's time. Okay? So looking at this one, the first thing we can label would be the new moon. Well, we know that a new moon has 0 illumination, so no light. So E right here would be labeled new moon. Okay, and then as the moon continues to move throughout the month, we're going to come into other areas. But I think what might help us next is to go ahead and do our full moon. Then we'll go back. So our full moon, we know, has 100% illumination. Okay, so if you're looking up here, there's 20, 40, 60, 80, 100. B would be that full moon at 100% illumination. Okay, so I think having those two, that gives us kind of a pattern that we're able to use to fill in the rest of our dots. So let's look at waxing. Well, we know that waxing, that moon phase, takes place between the new moon to the full moon. Since we have new moon here and full moon here, we know that these two will be labeled with waxing. And then the two areas where the moon is waning, we know that that takes place between the full back to the new. So that would leave us with the last two dots to label as in for the waning. Well, we know for waxing to be waxing crescent, your light is less than half. Right here between the 40 and the 50, I'm going to kind of draw just a little bit of a dotted line. So F falls below that 50%, so that's going to tell me that this letter dot represents the waxing crescent moon. And then I'm looking for the next waxing moon. Well, my next waxing moon, since we're still between new and full, is letter A. Well, letter A falls above 50%, so that's how I would know that A would be the waxing gibbous moon. Right there. We go to full moon, and then now we are starting to have a decrease in the amount of light. So our waning moons would be over here. Well, letter D, there we go, fill that in. It is above the 50% mark, so we know that this one represents the waning gibbous. And then as we continue on down, letter C is below our little 50% dots. So we know that this would be a, hold on, I like my little lines here, waning crescent moon. Okay, so now we have taken a graphical representation of what the light of the moon would look like to us for 1 month. Nice job. So now what you'll do is glue this into your notebook. If it fits, awesome. If it doesn't, then you know the drill. You can always glue parts of it any way you want, and then you can always do your folds. Okay, so I'm going to put mine in. Let me think for a moment. Also, if you're looking at the PowerPoint, when you run through that, this was on PowerPoint slide 14, if you guys were looking at that. So I'm going to kind of give it a little fold like that, so it's easy to see, and it fits right perfect, so I can open it if I need to, but then I can still see my graph. All right, so now that we have those in, and remember, you can always pause and finish something and then come back to the video at any time. You don't have to watch it in its entirety and try to remember. You can always pause and come back and forth. So the next thing you guys are going to do, and I want you to do this without looking at notes first, and then if you have to go to your notes, then you can do that. So this is a quick action. This is our predicting of the moon phase. Now, what I want to show you guys, hold on, I'm going to pause and come right back because I forgot to grab an extra. Okay, I don't know if you knew I walked away, but I did, and now I'm back. So this is what the sheet will actually look like when you get it. Couple of problems with this sheet. One, you can't really even see the circles that are supposed to be there. So what I want you to do is use our little templates that we've got in each of our caddies, and if you line the inside of the circle up with the shaded part of the moon, use your pencil and draw. It's not perfect, but it's very close, and so that will help you a lot with this particular sheet. I don't know why it doesn't print. When I send it to the copier, it has the lines, but it doesn't seem to come back. And then on this one right here in the center, you'll draw another one. Okay, so it should look like that. Now I'm going to continue drawing so that you can see what it should look like. Again, you can always pause and do your drawings, or you can kind of do them right along with me. But it's important that you are filling these in, because each one of these boxes have 3 moons in them, and I want to make sure that you have them in there as well. All right, here's the last one. Okay, so now that I have those drawn in, that looks better. I know it's not perfect, but it's much better than it was. So now what I want you to do is place like a box around certain moons here, because those are the moon phases that you are going to predict. And it's hard to say which moon phase you're predicting if you don't know which one it's actually referring to. So in the first one, put a box around this third one. Okay, there we go. So on the line right here, you're predicting this specific moon phase. Okay, so you're going to write it right there. If it helps you, feel free to label these so you can say which one this one would be. Okay, and coming down here, you are going to tell me which moon phase this one would be. Okay. So that's going to go right here on that line. And then the box up here, this is the one you are making the prediction, like this is the one it would be. Not a very good error there. Let's see if we can fix that. Yeah. Close. Okay, and then down here, you're actually telling me 2 moon phases. This one right here, and this one right here. So you're going to give me both on this line. Okay, so again, the instructions for this one, make sure your sheet looks like this, and then you are going to tell me what moon phase is happening where the box is. And if it helps, you are absolutely more than welcome to take your yellow and kind of shade it if that gives you a better visual as to what's actually happening in the other phases leading up to this one. Okay, so you can pause the video and complete this one. I will have a key in Canvas for this for you to check it, and then when you're done, you're going to glue this into your notebook. Okay, so we will stop there, and anything additional from that I will have in Canvas for you. Stay tuned. Tomorrow you'll see your video of what to do.